Hello. I just realized that my my keybind for switching scenes on OBS does not work anymore because I actually linked it with the development binary that I've worked on. This one works though, which is interesting because like I don't know if it has like a loop where it restarts, but it definitely the ESP32 definitely booted before I had OBS running. So I wonder if like it catches it at the right time. All right, so what are we doing? Off stream I was doing a little bit of something. Yesterday, the last thing we did was adding a different size of array to MessagePack. So let's summarize what this is about. Some streams ago, I created a OBS client in C, right? And there's a WebSocket client. And the WebSocket client basically connects to a WebSocket server that OBS has, and it uses the MessagePack kind of encoding or format, I would say, to communicate between the client and the server. So if OBS wants to send an event saying this happened, it just sends it as a MessagePack encoded thing. So during a series of streams, I've implemented a MessagePack encoder and decoder. Now, after creating a client, a CLI that lets me tell OBS which scene I want to be in, and using that with keybinds, I decided to see, can I potentially use an ESP32 to do that and have physical buttons? And with the ESP32, it could be connected to the same network, and that way it could be something that's not connected to the phone, it could just be there, and then you can do some funny stuff with LEDs, and you can see how far we can take that. I've ported the code, it works. The only thing that I need to do now is that I want to have a more solid OBS client and a more solid MessagePack, because it does not work with everything that I needed right now. And the last thing we did yesterday was trying to call the get version function of OBS to test my OBS's client request and response tracking. So when you say I want to get the version, you can provide a handler function that will be called when OBS sends a response back. So after doing that, I actually went back to the MessagePack spec, and I started adding a few more types. So even off stream, when I had like 5-minute downtime, I was adding things here and there. And before we jump back into doing some OBS stuff, because we have an error that we need to tackle, I was looking at the int. So I actually implemented int before, but it was actually only uint. So I renamed everything into uint, and I've added an int. And I've only done these 3 cases. As a refresher, the way MessagePack works is that it is obviously split by bytes, and the first few bits, and sometimes an entire byte, is used to differentiate the format of the data that is coming. So for example, here you can have a positive integer if the first bit of the byte is 0, and the 7 bits after that will be the integer. So in 1 byte you can actually put numbers all the way up to whatever 2 to the power of 7 minus 1 is as a positive integer. Interesting enough, they have a negative integer for small numbers as well, and if it starts with 3 ones, as there's 3 ones in bits, not in bytes, then you have a 5-bit negative number that can be packed in there. And this is actually how it's encoded here. So for the case 1, I actually grab 0xFF. So this is actually a, and because it's casting it to a in64T, I'm actually making sure that the last 8 bits of the number are all set to 0, and I do an OR on it. So it basically grabs a big number with a bunch of 1s everywhere, sets the last 8 to 0, and then flip the last 8 to whatever these values are. And because the first 3 are always 1, 1, 1, right? Then I don't really have a problem, because it just sets it. I don't have to just grab the 5 only. And then I did the next one, which was this one. So when you have this prefix, you just read a full byte as that, and it actually end up being the exact same logic. So now I need to just implement in from bytes because I have the function, but it's the logic from uint, and basically I just need to actually these are unsigned. The signed one is here, which is very similar. Yeah, so here you see it reads 8 numbers, and I think in my logic I have, you see 2, 4, and 8. So I need something in from byte, which is it all the way? It's here, in from bytes, and right now it has the logic of the other one, which is wrong, right? So what I need for each of those, I think what I need is value or equal. So I need to set the value to uint 64 max. Well, I think this is going to set 1 everywhere, and because I don't cast it, it should give me a number that has a 4, 1. And then what I need to do is to do an I need to do a actually, I wonder if what I need to do is to set it to 0. Let me think. If I set it to 0, and then I grab the rightmost, the problem is that if it's only the rest, I need to set the rest to 1. That's the problem that I have. I could set everything to 0, and every time I need to write something, I just basically do 8, 8, 8, 8. But I need to make sure that the rest of the numbers, when they're not written to, is set to just ones. I think the way I can do that is, in reality, if everything is set to 1, and I want to write something in that slot only if it's 1, I could do an end, right? If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And then I've got and actually here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. And then I've got a bunch of zeros and something like this, right? Then if I do an end on that, this is going to be zeros, this is going to be 1, this is 1, this is 0, right? That's kind of what I want. The problem is that I kind of want the problem is like it sets this to 0, right? That's the problem, is like it's going to write the rest to 0. So I guess what I need to do is to make sure that whatever number I have, I am going to do an OR, but I'm going to set everything to 1. The problem is when I do that, then everything gets contaminated with 1s, and that's a problem. So I think I'm looking at it the wrong way. I need to get my number, and I need to get everything that is not my number set to 1, and I need to end it with the one that I want. I think that's the simple the simple value there. So what I need is, yeah, I think it's simple. What I need is this. I need something that has a bunch of zeros, my number, and then I need something that has a bunch of 1s, except where I want my number. And then I'm going to do an end on that, and that's going to get me the number that I want. But the problem is if I do that, I think I know what I'm going to do. It's a bit dumb, but I think the simplest for me is going to, I think this is correct, but here what I can do is value or equal 0x and then there's only 2 at the end there, so 2 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there, that's 2 bytes, and this is, I need 8 because it's a 64-bit number, so I need 6, so I need 12, because 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? I think that's basically what I'm looking at there. Right? I need this, and to be honest, I could then do, because the idea is that I need to generate, I would need to generate this number programmatically from this number, which is 2, and this, which I know 8, so I could do 6. But I don't know how to programmatically generate a number like that. Like, how do I say, oh, I want this many numbers, unless I loop and every time I just move it by 1 and end it? I don't know how to do it. But because here I kind of have it hard-coded, I am definitely going to put it right there and just say like this. I think this would work. And obviously I need to do it in the right function. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. That's what I want. And I want it right here. I want it right here. But this time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That doesn't seem correct. Yeah, that's correct, because it's 4, so 2, and then double it. So I've got 8 and 8, okay? And I grab this and I paste it right here. And then this is just, well, this is actually the entire number because I'm doing 8 of them. So I don't think I need something like this, right? And I actually think that because this same code, I could just do uint and just straight up not cast it, because if I cast it, it would change the meaning, but just implicitly cast it, so it just puts the type in the type. Now, this, where it gets a bit difficult is how do I test that one, because this one is 4, right? And in reality, I would just need a big number. I can try that. Like, I mean, this only has 2 bytes. So I need a number, so 257, that has 3. So 257 should be what I need. Actually, 6 should be what I need as well. But I'm going to go a bit bigger and say this, right? That's kind of what I need. So I'm going to grab this. And in here, I want to do echo, and this one is in 16. Let's see if in 16 works, the rest should work as well. But let me check, 16. Okay, so I've got 3. Okay, great. In 16. Now I can go to my main file, which is just my my test file. And what's great is I can do this, and I can say I'm expecting 789 for my int16 test. That creates a function for me that I can then add to my suite. 16, load the file 16 as a data source, and it's a test 16. Make test. Doesn't work. Okay, great. So now I know. Unknown type D1. That is interesting though. Did I? It's possible that I didn't implement that logic in the initialization. Yeah, I didn't do it. So it's as simple as this. Paste it there. 16. Size is 4, and then the data is there. I think size is 4, 2 and 1, yeah. And while I'm here, I can easily do this and this. Go here and say 32, go here and say 64, and go there for, wait, there's something, oh, size is the size. So size is the header plus 1 byte, the header plus 2 bytes, so it should be 3 actually, right? And this is becoming 5, and this is going to become 9. I think this is fairly simple. Let's have a look. Now it works. So I'm going to very quickly go and try to generate other bigger numbers. So this one gets 5 bytes right away. So I may want to try to go to 4 first. 3, 5. Don't know how it goes to 5 right away. Because what's interesting is that this one is like a signed one, so it could have both positive or negative numbers. The reality is, yeah, it could have either. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just feel it and see. Okay, so if I put a 3 here, I need to put a 2 here. A 1 here, okay. So a 2 here with a 2, 2, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go, 8. That's a good number. No, it's 5. Oh, it's normal that it jumps to the next one. Okay, don't know what I'm talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. I'm just being silly. 32 is these bytes. Okay, and then that's the number that I'm expecting. Which, if I go to I can arrange right here, and then I need to go to 9, which is going to be this one, which is going to be this string. Whoops, this needs to be 64. Okay, great, so now I've got those. Test int 32, comma, (64), and I can just generate those two right here. There's something else that I've been looking at, which is a little bit more complicated. It would maybe break a bit of the API that I have, but I do kind of need to look at it. And it's handling unterminated one. So I need to like say, oh, I was supposed to read that many more, but that's the end of the buffer. But the problem is that right now in my interface, I actually didn't provide a length when you initialize an item because I thought, oh, a well-formatted MessagePack message, you shouldn't expect a length because you know when you end it, because all of the length is provided ahead of time. The problem with that is obviously if you have a thing with the network and your MessagePack is not complete, to know that it's not complete, you need to start reading it and then hit the limit. So I will have to implement those. So all my tests have passed. You know, I test uint and ints in the reading suite. And then I test strings, which are a bit too small. And then I do array and then array 16. But I haven't tested array 32 and actually that's the only one I have. Because the reality is I would integrate an array with tons of numbers in it. I'm just going to trust that it works right now. I mean, I should probably just generate one. But yeah, we'll see. Right, so now that I've got this, I would like to go back to our good old OBS client. Scene equals code run. Sometimes it just runs and hangs. There you go. So did it work this time? Well, I wouldn't know. Let me go to chat and run it. It didn't work. I did receive a fade. Oh yeah, these are events that I received when I was switching between stuff. I I get an opcode hello and I get nothing else. So I mean, I don't remember exactly where I mean, yesterday, from what I remember, I was stuck on something where it would just not work, right? So here, handle response and handle get version. So I was expecting to get a get version there. So obs.h. Let's see where I was at. So in my kind of dispatch where I get the stuff, I should have a bunch of stuff that gets a little bit different now because I've changed the signature. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. OBS has got loads of threads here. Yeah, so read int is not going to be correct anymore. That's why. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I was yesterday. So I got my response from the get version, and then I get a request response, and it prints something like available requests, which is odd because that's what is in response data. And then it gets 15, and it's like right next to it, and it says con recurse type uint. So obviously I'm doing a recurse somewhere that shouldn't happen. So we'll need to see how I handle that. There's also the fact that I could actually be at the end of the buffer, and now I actually handle this situation. So we'll see how I want to do that. So what is causing the recurse issue, right? What is doing that? I mean, is it printing the opcode? Yes, it says request response. So I'm right here, and I'm recursing into root, right? So I was saying that root is not correct. I'm dumping root here, but I'm recursing it twice. So maybe that does something, right? But as far as I understood, root recursing just does not. Recursing should reset the thing, right? Let's see. What if I did memset iter 0 size of iter? What if it's a problem that there's some leftover data and it initialize just doesn't do the thing properly? No, it's not that. So it's the same. I got the same issue. Although I should probably just do make lib and see if that changes anything. No. Okay, great. So I'm back in the same thing. I want to do a quick printf to see where I'm at and see if I'm even looking the right thing. I might not be. Oh, it's not actually running. It just hangs. Yes, right. So it looks like I don't know why it's printing something. Maybe and I don't know why it's printing available request and then 15 and then can't recurse. Maybe in recurse I printed something. Actually, you know what that is? That is the it's let me think. It's the handler trying to print is what it is, right? That's not the issue here. The problem is it does find response data, it stores it, and is right before doing this. Dispatch the handler, right? See, dispatch handler, and this is when it does the dump. And I think the problem with that is that I may have given it not a map, but the first item of the map. I think that's the issue here. Yeah, there you go. Because when I get response data, I'm recursing into it, and I put it in response data, and that's an iter. Is that an iter? Yeah, it is an iter. So it should have all the data in there in the right format. But I'm giving it an item. Should I give it an iter instead? Because the item in there is going to be... Yeah, that's the problem that I have, is that the item is going to be the wrong thing. What I would need instead is an item. So let me try to see if I can do item. And what I find interesting is that I could go into MessagePack and see what recurse does. Because when recurse does, it does an init on parent next and iter item. So what does init does? Data. And what is item? Oh, item is just populating it. So I literally just need a pointer to where it's at. So as simple as, right? Really. So when I recurse, I say parent next. Okay. So when I come here, instead of recurse, I should do mp item init, and I should give it data iter dot item dot data. I'm kind of going to get the data of the actual item, which is the value that I need. Yeah, I think that sounds correct. And then response data. Right, so that should be better. And then obviously here I don't need to give it an item anymore. I need to give it the actual pointer. So let's see. Right. Now, interestingly enough, it just goes 15 and then can't recurse. I don't know why it's trying to recurse, is what I find a bit odd. Because if I go into main here and then look at what it does, I'm doing dump and I'm doing read string, right? Which should be issue, but I think it's dump that's causing the issue. Well, actually, it's dump here, right? So when I do dump here, unless I'm like one step further, no, I'm still. Okay, because dump is trying to recurse, but I should know not to recurse if the type is not correct. That's the thing that is a bit odd to me. I'm interested in printf mpstr type item type. Because this is where I find it a bit odd, because it is. Did I not come here? Oh wait, it seems to be working because I'm printing it twice now. So this is what I'm running here. There's a bunch of stuff that I'm dumping. That's the data that I'm printing the first time. Then that's the data I'm printing the second time. Although this does not have the surrounding brackets, which is odd. Request response. Okay, so I'm printing blah, 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 then I'm getting map, then I'm printing the right thing, and then I get 15 and can't recurse. So why is let's try to do this and see if it actually goes after or if it's just yes. So it does go after, and so just set program seen by name. I don't know why 15 is printed there. So it is dispatched, and maybe it's this dump here that's causing an issue. I think that's the one, because if I go right here, okay, so it's not that one, it's this recurse here. So seemingly what my buffer received is just the number 15. Is there any situation in which OBS where OBS would just send a number? You should always send MessagePack, right? Although I do remember receiving an error before, and that error was just a plain string over the WebSocket. So what I could do is dumping gets me a 15, but 15 may be a byte that signifies that this is a string, or not, it was something else maybe. But what I could do here is a printf of %.s with buffer. Maybe I'll get 32 bytes. See what that looks like. See, unable to decode MessagePack. Alright, so now I'm getting an error. So I think what I can do there, instead of just going straight into this there, because dump is obviously incorrect in that situation, I could do if root.type is not a map. Then I want to do something else. I'll say printf %.s buffer len buffer. Actually, this is probably going to be received. It's called received. I'll put it full. Right, and I'm gonna break out of it or return 1, as in something went wrong. There you go. Parse error at byte 80, syntax error, parsing MessagePack v shutting down. Right, so this is me sending something incorrect in my request for changing scene. Right, it's interesting that I'm getting a 15. I kind of want to do a printf. I'm going to put it right there, and this is going to be mpstr type root.type uint. I don't understand why I'm getting a uint. Is it possible that I have some part? Is it possible that on the buffer, after I've finished reading stuff with MessagePack, that there is still some left over and I didn't read everything? I think it is possible. I'm just not sure why I would be receiving some kind of uint type rather than because I obviously have a string there, but also before the string I've got some symbols. So either I'm passing the string, unless it's like a really long string, there's a full stack trace, and it's a string size that I don't support, and that's being caught the wrong way. Like what if I said x on root.data, that's an f. I mean, this is definitely, it's just f, so it should be 0f, which is positive fixed int, which is uint. Yeah. Is there, like, if I go to string something, I don't get an f there. How can I get to the end? I mean, I could try to get the message length, right? Once it has been handled here, I would like to do mp item len. I think that exists. Yeah. And we'll say root. And then I'm going to say message len is this, received is this, and I can say len received. Now if I have more in received, then that means that I'm missing some data. Okay, there are 4 bytes that I received that seems to have been maybe outside, but like those 4 bytes are the WebSocket header, isn't it? Data offset. So pause the frame, and the data offset is going to be that. So what if I do minus data offset in my same number? So that means that this packet had exactly the size that I needed, and it was in there. Why would there be some garbage before the string? Because like I would be like, oh yeah, you sent me some raw string, I'm happy with that. Or it's my WebSocket implementation that misses the offset. That's interesting. And it's not sending me, it's sending me a different type. It's sending me bytes, it's sending me a string instead of bytes, and I'm just not handling that here, right? Two. So it's not 4, it's 2. So that means that frame it doesn't really tell me what type it is, because I'm like on the, oh, I can check the opcode. Can I do plsws str opcode? OBS there is, no, that's not what I need. I don't have a function. Get opcode name, really? I'm just gonna rename it str opcode, because I've seen everyone use str opcode. I hope I'm linked. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm like dynamically. There you go. Print f Do that. Close. Why am I getting the close opcode? Oh, actually that would make sense. So let's see. Do I still have WebSocket open somewhere? No. Wikipedia, WebSockets. Now, I imagine that basically what's going on is that close may have some data in it. The payload is optional, but if present, it must start with a 2-byte big endian unsigned integer status code, optionally followed by a UTF-8 encoded reason, no longer than 123 bytes. So I guess this is where I need to handle the close thing. Oh, there's the codes. Normal closure, going away, protocol error, allowed in close frame protocol. Okay, so I can just look at this as well. Well, I guess if you have 2 bytes, okay. So let's do it here. If PLS WS, no, I don't need to do any of that. Frame.opcode equals PLS WS opcode close. Now here I would do a PLS WS get close. Get close is a bit of a weird like, I don't want to say get close stat, like, because this is just a status code and then a reason, right? Like get close data, or you know, like when you're reading the frame, parse frame, should I do like parse close frame? Does that make sense? Yeah. And in there, the only thing I need to do is do I just give it the frame? Not really. I just need to do buffer plus data offset, and I would receive status code reason, which this is going to be a 2-byte Bingenden unsigned integer. So 2 byte is definitely going to be small enough. uint32t status code char star reason. Okay, now what's great is that I can then go back here and start working on this. That's great. So I just need to add this. Actually, that's not what I'm doing. Right, so here I'm going to get a buffer, and what I need is, it's interesting that none of these actually give a length to the buffer. So like there's always the risk that I'm going to go overflow. I need to really work on all of that. uint32t pointer status code char star, actually it's the char star star, and actually it's this. I wonder if I can do this. That's what I want to do, but I don't know if that exists. And then reason pause close frame. C const char star star. Where do I put the const? C pointer to a, can I do const pointer to, no, I don't actually, I don't need it to be, I just realized that it doesn't need to be constant in my instance. So I'm just going to do char star star. There you go. Yank that, and then parse frame is right here. Boink. Right. So 2 bytes. Now the thing is, optionally for the bytes no longer than 123 bytes. Now this is going to be difficult for me because I don't know the length of the rest of the data. I may need to provide like a limit to it. So I think this is definitely going to have to be followed by size t buffer length. And we're going to get started on the good practices for this. There you go. And so here the idea is, because I can't really know what the end of the string is. That's the difficult part. Like, it doesn't tell you the length of the string. Anyways, first a 2-byte big endian unsigned integer. Now I know how to do these now. Status code, start with 0, status code or equal, and I want to get buffer at 0 and the reverse of 0xff. Actually, I might just do 0xff. So I just want to get the last 2, which I will cast to a uint 32t there. I want to make sure I only get the last bits, and that's it, right? And then I'm going to do the same thing, except that I'm going to want to shift all of this by 8, which all of this means all of this, which means this. I actually think I may want to do this instead, because the reality is if I do that, the shifting is kind of slightly undefined. Return 0. I don't have statuses. I don't have status to play with. So let's just start with that. And okay, and this is where I need to do received minus data offset. Right, now I can do a print f, press D. It's great. It makes us find these like other areas of both WebSocket and MessagePack that we haven't supported. So even though it just distracts us from implementing real thing that's fun, that should be a thing. So I'm getting 15, right? Right. But I may be doing the wrong endianness, because if I look at this, I'm supposed to be getting unused, right? So I'm supposed to get the wrong thing. So I probably need to, well, first of all, I don't need to do this. 65 to 95, 65 to 95, it's not there. So then I just need to probably put a 1 here and a 0 here. We'll just shuffle stuff around, see when it works. 162, still not correct. Okay, so maybe I'm doing something wrong. I mean, I guess 0xff is gonna set everything to 0 except the last 2. And this one's gonna be 0xff moved by 8 to the left. Let's see what I was doing in MessagePack. It should be right at the top, close to the top. Oh, I'm moving the whole thing. Okay, so that's kind of like, that was my first intuition. Let's see. Yeah, that was my first intuition. I don't know what the first time sometimes it just hangs like that. 162, okay. Okay, 162. But let's see if, turns out I needed to have 0 and then 1, which I don't think it would be because this is 0 and moved by. Let me do a %x buffer 0 buffer 1. So we'll play with this. You see that second one is on F, and A2. So I'm getting F and A2, which to me means hex to decimal F A2. 4002, unless it's A2F. 2000. I don't really have a 4000. Our reserve for library framework, and so yeah, for 4000 actually, so private, this one's private use. This would be private use. 2006, and this one is, so 4 would be, but the 2001 in here does not seem to be correct. I mean, this needs to be registered as well. So unless it's sending me some data that I'm not doing properly, then I don't know which one I'm doing. Also, I'm not even getting those two numbers myself. But it's also possible that I shouldn't cast it to decimal instead. I should be getting this. And this is going to be this. Okay. And F is going to be 4 ones. And now if I go binary to decimal, 1, 2, 3, 4, with this pasted, 4002. So that's kind of like the same idea. I can swap them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2006. Yeah, so that's where things a little bit. It's one of those two numbers, but I'm not seeing anything in the spec that says the 2001 is not there. It will be in the protocol. 2607. I don't need like AI for this. WebSocket close status. Yeah, I'm not seeing any 2000 there. Unused, specs can define them. So what if we looked at the source code for this WebSocket thing and see what they may be sending back? WebSocket close code. Okay, I have something going crazy. Don't know, my CPU fan is just, it's not even blocked, there's plenty of space. Right, WebSocket close, why is it not letting me search? See, that's the new GitHub for you. Search, it just closes the thing. And I can't go in the code because they don't want you to search if you're not signed in. So instead, I'm going to clone it because I can't be bothered. And we're looking at it's here. I had it in my. Okay, now we have a bunch of them. So protocol would be a good place to start with, maybe. Protocol.md is not really telling me Actually, it might be in here. Generated. Yeah. $4,000. Yes, that's what it is. So if I put the 4 numbers there, 1, 2, 3, 4, convert 4002, and that is the server was unable to decode the incoming WebSocket message. Okay, so 4002 means that the F, which is the first one, needs to be on the left. So the F needs to be shifted. So yeah, I think this is the one combination that I didn't do, which was shifting the F and not shifting the other one. I also didn't put the brackets in the right place there, so that would have definitely not worked. And the first one shifted and the other one is not. Okay. Let's try that. Touch. 4002. Close. Great. Now, that's correct. Now, what's really odd there is that I may have to do a str dupe, or I do reason equals buffer plus 2, because I'm reading 2 bytes. And I really don't know if this would be enough. And anyways, I would need to no, it's in OBS, isn't it? Yeah. And we need to print a reason. The problem that I have is that I don't know the length of reason ahead of time. And for some reason, sometimes it just hangs there. And it just stops at V there, and it's because it's 123, and that's the max value, right? But I did not necessarily null terminate it, and I don't know if what I'm going to get is null terminated. So I wonder if what I should do is allocate something that has 124 bytes, and then mem set it to 0, and then copy whatever is left with a maximum of 123, or just copy 123 values, whatever is the smallest between the two. Because there it doesn't really say if after close UTF-8 encoded reason message no longer than 123 bytes, max payload length 125, but if it's smaller than 125, is it going to be null terminated, or can I get garbage in there? I'll just assume this is correct. Alright, so what I need to do is malloc, and actually I'm going to do a calloc for this one, 124, and do a mem copy into reason from buffer plus 2, and if buffer length minus 2 is smaller than 123, then buffer length minus 2, otherwise 123. And it's not automated because I did the right thing. Okay, so now obviously this is going to be the same thing. Don't know the first time it just does that. Okay, and I've leaked it, which is fine. I don't need to. Once I'm done, I just need to do free reason, and then this basically closed it, so I should probably do return 1, which is something went wrong. Okay. There you go. And so here I should do something a bit better. And realistically, like obs.h could actually catalog all of these. And you know what? This is a great excuse to grab this. Oh, that's request status. That's not WebSocket error anymore. to use AI, because this is what AI is pretty good at. WebSocket, unsupported feature. That's the latest one. So I'm going to copy all of this and say, using the provided spec, generate a CX macro that would contain a type, name, and description that could then be used to generate enums and error printing info. Use this template, and the template is going to be hashtag define OBS WebSocket close thingy, right? Close, what is it called here? Close code. Where I'm at. Code with X, and in here would have X with type of name as uppercase. Actually, this one's going to be OBS WS close code foo description of foo. Before I provide the spec, generate an example snippet to show you understand. I don't want to generate the whole thing right away. Okay. Don't generate the enum and functions, just the X macro. Here is the spec. Go. This should be okay. And I forgot. Actually, not that many. I forgot, but you need. I'm not going to do the I forgot stuff. I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to edit this and say 4000 X, whatever it's going to be, and I'm going to regenerate this. Okay. Don't generate the enum or functions, just the X macro. Here is the spec. Go. Yeah, 0 is odd. For internal use only, Telegram standard not to perform any close action. Okay, internal use only. So I guess if it's internal use only, I might just remove it. Okay, but this seems to be what I wanted. So this is what I use AI for. Like I'm not gonna have that. Like I know that like you could technically have it as an agent in the code base already set up, and then you could have given in the link to the page, like the direct link, and it would have downloaded it and everything and done it automatically. But yeah, I didn't want to type this whole thing, so this is pretty good for me. So now I can just paste this here, and then I'll just format it. I kind of want a little bit more than 80 columns. Am I at 80 columns there? Yeah, I kind of want a little bit more than 80 columns for this. And I don't remember, but I think I have one of my other projects that I worked on that has a Clang-D config. Let me see if I can find it. What other project do I have there? Tons, actually. Was it OBS IP cam or PLS? I think it's PLS. Clang format. Yeah, so I'm going to copy pls.clang format into .clang format. There you go. There you go. Now I just reformatted stuff. But actually, if it could just not... Okay. It looks a bit better for me. 120 is a bit large, but even with my zoomed in thing on the laptop screen, it just doesn't, you know, I don't... I guess with 80 I could have two side by side, but I don't care about this. Right, I got a state, and I've got... So what I'm missing is an enum for those values. So from there I can say enum, and this one says state. That's quite crazy. Is that really... Did I just have something called state in my header? That's going to be a bit of an issue. Because that state... Yeah, I'll have to sort something out there. It's not great. Enum OBS WebSocket close code. Define X with type, value, name, description, and you will have type equals value, comma, OBS WS close code of X with undef X. And if I just hover onto that, it generated this. See? 4,000. I might remove don't close. I think this is just not that great. Right? And then from there, there's a few things I can add actually, which is going to be, I can either have like a print. I think I may have like a print error or get error string. Maybe I might do get error string. Yeah, it's a bit tricky though, because I would need to get the error name, and then I wonder if I should remove the error name. Actually, I think I just have two functions. It doesn't really matter that much. Right, so in here I just need OBS client. Gonna get a const char star. OBS client str close status. OBS client get close name, get close code name. I don't do that. I don't like to do that, but we'll see. uint32c code, and then here's gonna be description. Right. Now we're going to implementation, and we're gonna paste right here because they're going to be very, very similar to this. Yank. Actually, code is not even code. I've got an enum for that, so I don't know why I didn't do that. Okay, and this is actually enum OBS close code, and so this is close code X OBS close code, OBS close code, where you pass the X is here, define X. Oh, I'm missing the desk. Okay, and then now I just need the exact same thing here, and instead of returning the name, I'm returning desk. There you go. And just for sake of being tidy, I will have enum OBS WS close code, enum OBS WS close code. Right. No, it's actually on OBS.h. Oh, I'm already in the right place there. Great. I don't even need to do anything. So when I get code here, what I would simply need to do is a printf. For now, I'm going to do printf. Ideally, would return something. %s, connection closed. Connection closed. OBS, WS, OBS client. Get Coco's name, status, OBS client get what's called description, status, and I'm actually going to also add reason, and that's going to be after that %s. Right, status is status code. Status is status code. Don't need these two. I can free a reason and then return. There you go. Connection closed. Message decode error. The server was unable to decode the incoming WebSocket message. Unable to decode MessagePack. JSON expression parse error at byte 80. Syntax error while passing MessagePack v. Because obviously there's a limit in how many bytes you can have in that thing. Right. So then I'm handling this. I need to figure out that why my message is not correct. And here I'm just printing the opcode. I might just remove it because that's just not what I want. And here, this is just, this is kind of incorrect in that I was incorrectly assuming that the data I was getting was MessagePack data, whereas actually it was WebSocket data. But this should still be something that is handled, but I should probably say error expected map as root format from server. I don't think I need got. I can do a got. MP str op code, and actually no, MP str type root dot type. That should be it. And this is not going to do anything because I'm already there. Right. So now, correct. I am not saying something correctly in scene by name, and I'm sending set current program scene, and then I'm kind of writing a string. Then I'm writing a map. So let me see. Request data. I'm writing a map with one field. I'm writing a string scene name, and I'm writing a string scene name. The problem is that I don't think I should be writing the request data if I've already said true. Well, that's different. Expected map as root format from server got uint. Connection closed. Right. So, I mean, now it's moving. It seems like, and it did actually change it. I mean, if I go to chat and run and say code, it did change to code. Okay, so it's just a problem with, I'm getting another request response. So I'm getting the response from this, and in the request response, the does not have the right type. Let's print some data. 32. How about 32 bytes of buffer plus data offset? I got ION get scene item private settings. one or two things could happen. I mean, I'm kind of in the middle of something there. It doesn't seem to be correct. I wonder if my frame is split. If I'm getting a bunch of like events, it could be something like that. It could be that I'm not reading the thing at the right size. What is the max length? Let's just add a ridiculous amount. Global buffer overflow. Really? Global buffer overflow. That's interesting. It's because this is probably too much on the stack. Well, okay, just for the sake of it, I'm going to put it on the heap. Yeah, let's just do that. The thing is, I do want to start putting the current data in a buffer that I would potentially have left over, and I could reuse those. So I think what I need to do here is to make sure that my state, okay, I'm in the wrong place there. My state up there, I do want it to have a in here char star buffer size t buffer length. And when I get the data, I'm gonna have like a request buffer that says like, I'll read this many. I'm gonna slap it into the buffer, read it, and whatever is left from MessagePack, like you reach the end, then I will just move the rest at the beginning and then read at the continuation, right? And it should be easy because I can do buffer length, I can read and then change the buffer length. It's just that I might need a cursor. It's very similar to what I did with the IP camera and stuff like that. So now I've got that. I want to do my read. I'm not going to do that right now. But basically the idea is that start, which really should be in it, is going to do something first, which is going to be client buffer equals calloc 1 with and this is where I'm going to have like another max buffer thing. So but I may want to start with 0.96 like this. I guess length would be the capacity and cursor, and then I know how many I've received. And then received would be it gets a bit tricky because what I want is I want a place where the data is. I want to know what's the maximum that data can have. In this instance is static, so it should be fine. But I also want to know how much was copied in. That should be fine actually. Okay, client buffer length equals 0, and client cursor equals client buffer, just to make it clean. Then when I receive stuff, there's max buffer length here, which is going to be a 4,000 kind of stuff. I'm actually maybe going to change the, no, I'm going to keep it like that. But what that means is I can actually improve this one by doing 40 if I wanted to. Now I should be back to the same error as before, where I got like root format kind of stuff. And I think it's an indication that I need to continue reading, right? There is more, right? Let me see. Received frame hand socket. So I'm actually interested in printing here. Received and MP item length root. One, so the length of that item is 1, and I've received 4,096. So I've obviously received more than I would need. It's odd because it's not possible for me to know like, it's possible, it would be possible for me to receive data in a way that I received exactly 4096, right? And there's no way for me to know that there is more in it without either do a blocking read immediately, which causes an issue because maybe my packet is exactly that, what I was supposed to receive, or actually I will need to check. Yeah, this is really odd because even if I receive 4096 there, it shouldn't change the beginning of my packet. It's really odd. I mean, obviously, yeah, if it thinks, obviously, you know, say I got ION. Let me see if I can clean stuff up so I can see what's going on a little bit better. Wow, I'm getting a different error when I don't do the dump, which is really odd. Handle client read, memcopy. Yeah. So I get a bunch of request response. I get tons of request response. Why is that? It's OBS fine, yeah. Why am I getting so many request response? If it's for the same, is it for the same one? Is it for the same I'm gonna try something dumb, yeah? I'm gonna try something dumb. Here, if received is exactly max buffer length, return 0. I'm going to assume that I'm just going to continuously add stuff. And in here, actually, what I should do is client buffer length plus equal received client buffer memcopy from buffer received. And then the only thing I need to do is obviously I need to stop using buffer in the rest. So this is where blah, 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 blah. I'm going to assume for now buffer is fine, but the reality is when I get here, I want to use client buffer client buffer because I want to read some stuff, and the rest is just fine because it already initialized this stuff. Now I'm getting 72. I guess I never copy it for the first one, so it would be kind of an issue. So I'm going to do... I do need to do buffer plus buffer length. No, what am I doing? Wrong. Buffer plus client buffer length, right? Which can actually be my cursor, but I don't really care about that. I add at the end and I move it, and this will continuously add it. But how do I change that, right? How do I just reset it? Because I'm going to write everything to it, and it's never going to reset it. To reset it, I would have to say, well, actually, I've received something else. So maybe what I should do is this, continuously copy it. If this is the max, then this. If I receive something else, is when I should reset it. But I can't really know to reset it. I want to read first. That's the problem that I have. I want to read from it first. So all of this is like set up completely incorrectly. Okay. I know that I will want. How do I know that that it's not finished? Okay, let me ignore this for now. I think that's what I needed there. Get back to the same error as before. Okay. Now what I want to figure out is why I am receiving. Where's my receive? Here. Right, so I do kind of need to still clear that. Okay, why am I receiving stuff? Let me check. I'm kind of running out of steam a little bit there, so this is why I'm just sometimes blanking, because I'm midway through thinking. This one is just something. Right. So I'm receiving a bunch and none of them are at capacity, and I'm getting the exact same request response non-stop. I wouldn't be surprised if I am constantly sending something so it's calling get version non-stop, which shouldn't be a problem. Like there's a point obviously it fails there, but it shouldn't be a problem to like do it non-stop. The problem is like obviously I'm sending get version all the fucking time because I'm in flight and something happened. So I need a flick that says, oh, it was sent. Great. I wonder if what I could do instead is when I do a start and I do a dispatch, I could have a kind of like a ready and a close, and I could have like a bunch of events for the WebSocket, right? And I can make it simple for now. Right, OBS client connected function. I think I'm going to call it ready. And I'm not going to receive anything. You just actually you could get the OBS client pointer. Why not? That's just simple. And then I'm going to say close, and then we'll see about the rest. And then there in my client, I may have OBS client ready fn ready, right? And I'm going to put it into a struct events. Close and void start data. That's going to be the same for all of the events, which is good, is not good. We'll see how that works. And then now what I can do is when I reach the in-flight status right there, I can say if client events dot ready client events dot ready. I call it with client events dot ready data followed by client. Super simple. And I can do that on the close as well. I'm actually going to put it in right here. So when I got close, I can put it right there. I say close. So because close could actually broadcast its status and reason. I think I may do that. So data, status, code, and reason, which means I need to move the reason after this. And obviously I need to change the signature of the thing at the top, which is right there. Nope, which is right there. And here you're gonna get a uint32t followed by a char star, which actually is gonna be a const char star. Let's not forget to put our format. And what's the error? Too many arguments to function call. Events close. Okay, it's possible that I just changed ready instead of close. No, I did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Client close. Did I do 2 readies? Yes. Right. So that's a good thing. Now, if I do this, it should still work. Great. But basically what's going on in my main now, I don't need to do this really weird thing. What I can do is, I have a OBS client start here. I can do client.events.ready equals on OBS ready. And I do want to basically, I'm not going to give it a thing, a state. I don't really need that. Static void on OBS ready, void star data struct OBS client star client. Close uint32t status, I'm gonna say code char star reason. Right, so I've got that, and I'm going to put it the close one as well. But what that means is, what am I missing there? I'm putting it in the wrong order, which makes sense. Did I int const char? Okay, that's what I needed. This can disappear and can be added here. Now I don't need the end client anymore, I just need client. Okay, which means this does not need to exist. And this is just a, if dispatch says it should be finished, just bail out. And I could have, in the future I could do something like, when it's closed, I receive the event that says closed and do this. Okay, I see. Right, I just get 2 responses. My scene has changed maybe, but I can do chat, which goes there, and I got a bunch of events, and I can do code, which goes there, and I get a bunch of events. Right, now I still don't know why the other thing was an error. I mean, the reality is that I was constantly getting the version, and at some point something goes wrong, and I'm not sure what. But I still have the issue of, it's technically possible that I'm receiving, when I'm reading from the socket, that I'm not reading a complete MessagePack thing. And what that means is I may need to do something like open the WebSocket frame. First I need to check if it's binary, and we have to check that. And then read the length of the MessagePack, the root one. And if the length, if the reading of the length tell me there's a problem in terms of like the, like you're at the end of the buffer, right? Which I can't really know initially because I don't know what the length of the buffer is, but we'll see. I may need a reader instead. Then I would say just leave what you have as leftover and then read more. But that can also cause some issues. Anyways, so I like this this thing a little bit better. Let's clean it up a little bit because I still have some printfs in different places. Received, yeah. Except key mismatch. that's just this one that needs to remove as well. This one can be removed as well. OBS opcode, I don't think I need it right now. And then I get event, and event is the one that's interesting because if I want to get notified, for example, like maybe I'll do it here, right? If it's request response, so I need to say if it's in flight, and then I just branch on the request response. So I may want to do a if opcode OBS OP request response. You want to do all of this. Don't really know if I'm in the right place there. Yes. Okay. You do a return 0 if you, yeah. And then we can remove this. And there I can do a else if opcode equals OBS opcode, OP, and event. Now if it's event, I'm going to do I've got the root already, so instead of like recursing, I can just do a simple mp item dump root. Right, I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to go code, but before that I'm going to go chat, hit run, and I should be back into code. Okay, and then now I can look at all the messages that I received. So yeah, I get transition name fade, so I've got event data, transition name, event intent 16, and event type. So event type is the one that I may want to branch on. So there's two ways I see it. One, I add another event handler, and that event handler would then receive event type, event intent as like already decoded, and event data as a message pack, like the insider. So you can just do whatever you want with it. And then it's your job to just branch on the intent and the event type. Or I create one event handler per those names, like scene transition, vignette, editor. I could even use an AI to just read the spec from the OBS WebSocket spec and generate all of the thing with a giant X macro that would generate something. But obviously reading the stuff is a bit, yeah, I'm going to do one. I think one is good. So that should be fairly easy. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I would like for my event to have one more thing, which is this, and this is going to be event. And the event is going to receive, yeah, show the client. I'm going to get, I think that's like the intent and then the name. I think these are the two ones that are correct. And here you're going to get event, right? So now I can go to the dispatch handler and say if, actually I can do it right there, and client events dot event is not null, which I should probably initialize to null initially, but we'll see. Dump for the sake of reading stuff. Now if I do this, it shouldn't dump anymore, so I'm going to go into main and say OBS event and event, and then have something like this with instead of recent is type and intent. And actually I'm missing something because I'm also getting a struct mp item star. It's called data already item. Okay, which I can then go back to here and add to the signature right there. Struct mp item star. Great. Starting to get a bit late, but I think we're making good progress. The question is, how soon can we put all of that onto the ESP? Soon, I hope. Because then, yeah, actually, then I can just say, is it this string? Yes. Then turn on this LED. So it shouldn't be too long, actually. Let's just not talk and try to see if we can make it work. I change signature so now it works. I'm just going to simply do a printf of event received %s, and it's going to be type. Super simple. Now, one thing I want to do right now is MessagePack dump does not have the right indentation. And I don't know how you do it, and I'm going to ask an AI because I remember Googling it before and I don't get results. In C, how can I print a specific number of white spaces without having to put printf in a loop? I just thought of an idea as I was doing it, but we'll see. So printf %s with the number and then an empty string, but %s is not, is going to try to read there and there's nothing there, so the AI is really wrong. Print spaces, this doesn't even use put char, so you're wrong. This is the one that I wanted to do actually. So you could do like the maximum number of spaces you can think of. Memset. Oh, it's kind of the same thing. I don't think this would work. Let's go to chat. Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah, of course it didn't work. Right, so I mean, this one is like pre-allocate something with spaces, or malloc and free on the fly. C printf indentation. Left justified fixed width format specifier. I think this is what I want. Would the dash be my solution there? And then the string is what I want to print. This seems to work. This is just for uints, so numbers may be indented now. It's not doing anything, so I wonder if this just broke it. No, it's just hanging. So is there a WebSocket issue? I have a bunch of one already connected. So maybe there was like a max. No, there's something wrong there. I am connected to the internet. WebSocket's open. This one's still working. Ah, there you go. I got something finally. I don't have any numbers printing anymore. I guess maybe I never got the ready, or it never sent the request. Like I never saw, or maybe it just doesn't print anything, which I think makes sense because I didn't receive any events. I think that does make sense because I removed all the stuff. Right. So let's try it with a string here. Dot star depth time 4. I'm not seeing strings being indented whatsoever. Oh, I'm also not seeing anything. No, it just chops them off. So this is like a max of 22. Oh, because it basically sets a fixed size there. Yeah, so that's the problem. So the first feature is return value printf. Yes, actually return something. Yes. With minus used. Print spaces, printf, bunch of spaces. Yeah, I'm gonna do this, the dumb one. Oh, I guess I was just not printing the numbers anymore. Void print spaces UN32T N 4 UN32T I N I. I'm gonna sure, why not? And the idea is that you probably just want to, because this is going to loop, but at the beginning of every printf I need to add the depth, and this just does depth plus 1. So I do need to make sure that I do 1 at the top. It's going to be there. Although if I'm not going to print anything, I should probably not do that. So I'm going to do print spaces depth time 4. I just don't want to repeat this stuff and have to change it later. Okay, and I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to put one right here before the true and false. Actually, true and false, we might not need those. The reality is that it's only the values inside the brackets that need the spaces, right? Because if I do thing colon this, oh, but there, that's where I'm a bit confused, because if I want to print a value in there, how do I do that? I need to change the depth when you go inside. So this is going to be depth plus 1. I don't know what to do. I forgot how to do all this. I've done it before. Okay, I want to do it here. And I don't want to do it here. I think that's literally what I need. And then I want to do it here. No, I want to do it right here. I may have a problem there. No, this is working. So this might not connect properly. Ah, I'm getting the events now. Let me show. Oh, well, that's literally kind of what I needed, except that this starts, then I don't get the space there. I do get the space in this one, I do get the space in this one, and this ends. But the closing bracket So one, the first one does not get indented. I don't know why. I guess because it's 0 and I do print spaces, but I should do print spaces of the next one, right? So don't know what I'm doing. So here, when I do this and it print spaces, I kind of need to print the next one, not the current one. So here I'm going to do depth plus 1 times 4. And I put this one in here instead of this. Okay. That looks much better. It's not, the closing one is not indented properly because I think I literally just need to do this right after after this. Like, how does that work? What is the opening? The opening is there. Then this one is correct. And this one has one less indentation than it should have. So like the closing one on this one is fine because there's 0 anyways. But it's weird. It's also weird that I have this empty stuff there. D is there. So this one should be here and this one should be here, right? So it looks like basically when I'm printing the closing bracket there, that should have the spaces that I need. So I should do print spaces of spaces in this instance. And the same thing with the right there. I think that's literally what I need there. Okay. Okay, it looks correct. I'm on the right scene, okay. It looks correct. I have a 5 there for some reason. The only thing is that there's this extra space there. So it looks like I have a double line return, yeah. Because after the last item printed, I'm doing a line return. And I'm also doing it in before there. So I should probably do the line return only if it's the last one, only if it's not the last one. But the only way to know if it's the last one is to do that while thing. So I may keep it like that for now. But anyways, this is much better to debug things. Right. Back here, and what I'm missing is the handling of things. So I'm going to do it manually, but in the future, what I would like to have is an interface that lets me do something like this, where I could do mp get at path, and I give it like this this path, which would be in this instance there I would have d event data, yeah, and what that would do is it would basically get me an item at that path. Or if we can't find it, it will get an error. And it would very simply do an strtok, where it would just get me the first string being D, and then what I would do is say, oh, I'm looking for a map that does this, like if it's a string, but like if the next thing would be a number, then I would look for like that being a number. I'm not gonna do that for now, but I will do at some point. So here there's request ID, response data. I should have something in there that says OBS key data. And this is kind of like, I kind of want that to be on both in reality. So I'm going to do it right there. And what that means is I should have the iter should be at the right place. And then I should be able to recurse for the data iter, which I can just put here. And now I've got something that seems to be correct. So now I've got data iter, which is the data. At that point I can do client events.event. I call it with client events.data followed by and this is I need a bunch of stuff there. Oh, actually no, because this is the event data, I need to open it up first because I need to, okay, intent and so on. Okay, let's ignore that. First, I need to find I want to do a single loop to get event intent, type, and data. So I can do a struct mp iter data iter and have a mp iter recurse from iter into data iter, because at that point iter has the item in there is the actual map. If it doesn't, then it should have failed, because here I was looking for data, and obviously I should check that it's the correct type, but it wasn't. So now I can do a do while mp iter next of data iterator, and then I need to kind of like grab this and put it right there, because I will need to do it twice because I'm going through a map. But the first thing I'm going to need to do is a char star key, which I'm going to read using mp read string of n data iter followed by the actual key that I want to read, and then there I can do some things. I can say if str cmp key and event data, char star incompatible integer to pointer conversion passing char. Oh, what am I doing? I'm dereferencing. Okay, read string. If it's event data, so this is where I was a bit confused, because response data I just need to do next once and then init with the response data that I would have there. So what I can have here is a struct mp item event data bool found event data false, paste. I can actually free it immediately here, although to be honest I might as well just free it at the end. And here mp iter recurse n data iter dot item into, well, no, I need to do an init of the data at that place, and it's going to be event data. Of course, it's iter item init, right? I did the wrong thing. Yes, and I'm just going to paste it there. Right, so that's how I want to do, right? I want to just initialize, and then obviously found event data true. Great. Now, else if strcmp key with event intent. Now, hopefully this is a, I know this is a uint or an int or whatever, but I just need to do this, paste it there, and do, I'm going to put it right here, uint32t intent, and actually this one's going to be a char star type read mp read uint data iter.item into intent. I think this needs to be a 64. And I kind of want to copy these there, event type, and read string and type. I think that's all I need there. Free the key at the end. Then when I'm done there, I will need to free the type for sure, and client events.event client events.data, followed by, what do we have? Intent type found. If you found it, you want to send it event data as a pointer, otherwise you do null, and you finish with the client. I think that's all you need. Okay. Event received null. So I'm getting event received null. What did I try to print when I said event received? Was it the data? The type. So maybe it didn't find event type in it. What if I printed the key? Let's see what I have. I'm going to remove the dump. It's a bit noisy. And yet, when I event data, event intent, and event type. So when I get event type, and I give it a type, so unsigned int, const char, which is type, the MP item, and then the OBS client. So what does it say the type is null when I do set it? And I read the string right there. Let's do a little bit of quick. Just switch it back here. It is printing the value, but it doesn't seem to say it's found it. I do an strcmp of key, and key is the right value, and then event type. Event type. So why does strcmp does not match? It needs to be 0. I always get it wrong with strcmp. Alright, let's get these off. It's a rookie mistake. And lastly, what I need to do is go into, I don't know if we'll have time to just, let's try to move that, we'll try to move that to the ESP and then see how far we can go from there. So I've got all of this, and then I go back to main, and event received, great, but I also want to do mp item dump of item and see what data I have. And now if I click, it's inside it, not the entire event. So to me this is incorrect. And that's because I think when I do my init, I get iter, and I should get data iter. Otherwise I just get the exact same. Let's try that. Receiving, it's not telling me unless I need to query the transition, it's not telling me which it's not telling me which one. These are the events, but I kind of maybe I need to do get transition. Like, is this what I need to do? Current scene transition changed. Like, how do I like requests? There you go, requests. Config request, source request, scene request, input request, transition request, get transition kind list, get scene transition list, get current scene transition, get current scene transition, get current transition duration, cursor, t-bar feature request. It's actually not really telling me. Maybe what I need to do is when the transition ends, or even when it starts, I need to then query and say get current scene, right? Get current program scene. Because I don't know what to do with transition. Like, it's not, I'm not getting, maybe I should check the events actually. Because maybe I have one that's not there. Maybe you need to register for some events. Scene event, scene created, scene removed. Current program scene changed is not something that I received. The current program scene has changed. Name of the scene. I'm not getting current program transition scene changed or received. Isn't that odd? Unless it's done only if it's done from within OBS. If I run this, then go to OBS and go to chat and code. No, I'm only getting scene transition ended and started. So let's see. Doesn't exist anymore. Ah. When was that open? 2023, and no one did anything. The event current scene change is mentioned in an instruction for handling events on the homepage and report, but doesn't exist in the list of events on the code base. So for it, the event seems to have been removed because it included the name of the old scene that was being changed away from, which is useful. The only event I can see as a replacement for that is current program scene changed, but it doesn't include the old scene that's written data. Okay, so I guess it's not exactly that. Current scene program scene change, and I'm not even getting current program scene changed. Oh, tick a box to enable. To enable current program scene changed event on OBS get current scene. Not fired. Turning off studio mode sends 2 current program scene changed events. Well, lucky for you, I'm getting 0. Maybe my events are sent to that guy and he's getting 2, I'm getting 0. Advanced scene switcher. I wonder if it gets filtered out in a weird way in my code. So I'm just gonna say event is set there, but I'm gonna do a mp item dump of the root one. There. I saw it. So it went to phone cam scene there. Event received, yeah. Phone cam scene. But only one. I didn't get the other one. So I'm receiving some, but not loads. Let me try again. Okay. Code. And code. Okay. Maybe I was just blind. Maybe I was just not seeing it properly. Okay. So this is fine. I can remove this, remove this, remove this. So what do we do? I think I have linked everything except MessagePack in the ESP32 version. So let's go to ESP32 version. Okay. Now let's not forget to do this. Don't want to retype it. Okay. Now, components, MessagePack. MessagePack seems to be hard-coded. OBS is also, the H is linked, but not the C. But because it's simple, so that should be fine. WebSocket is as well. But MessagePack is not kind of linked. So what I can do is rm components MessagePack MessagePack.c include MessagePack.h ln-s to help. Once again, I don't remember which order it is. Target and then link name. So target is ln-s /home workspace OBS client MessagePack.h home or workspace sdeck components MessagePack include msgpack.h. Do a C1 at the root with the C1 that's there. Great. idf.py build. Now I should get error because this is stuff that I just didn't do properly. MessagePack.c has a printf somewhere, and it's lu, and it should be LLU. Great. Actually, I wonder if I should just do this instead. OBS client MessagePack.c. Oh, I don't know why I tried to build there. I shouldn't build at the top, I should build down there. Right, so now we've got some errors, too few arguments. So yeah, so this actually gives you a callback when you do it. So now I should be able to come here, go into main hello world and scene, okay, scene by name, and that's going to be on scene response null, on scene response null. And actually in there I could just say, oh, this is which scene was just changed, but I don't really care. And the other thing that I would like to look at is I think I'm going to give it the state, because that's the thing that exists. Now what that means is I need an on scene response, static void on scene response void star data, okay, followed by I mean I should get like also a request ID, because that way I can compare them, but I'm not going to do that. What is the signature for the rest? I mean the rest is, there's no internet. I think it's literally just a struct mp item star item followed by a struct OBS client. Incompatible types, void star struct, argument is void star struct OBS client, star struct mp item, void star. Wait, I'm seeing the same thing. Passing on 3 from counter pointer. On scene response is a void star struct mp item struct OBS client, all pointers. the argument, oh, the expected void star MP item. So I'm not getting a client. Interesting. I don't remember. I guess the client is only when you have like the on ready type situation. Okay. OBS.h is printing something, and it should be an LD. I wonder if I can just edit it from there. It doesn't let me open the link, so I'll have to do it from there. I think this needs to be an LD, is what we're saying. Really? Is that the actual error? $232. Okay. Conflicting types for code description in OBS.h152. So yeah, enum obs ws close code. Request ID may be uninitialized. Okay, where is request ID? I don't like that. But we'll just have it, because if it turns out to be 0, then there's a problem. Let me see. Oh shit, I think it was working. Yes, flash, and in theory it should be the exact same thing, and then it should work. And then from there I can add the event thing, and then I can check compare the stuff, and we're at 44, so I think it's unlikely I'm going to do anything LED related, but it means we change the code and some stuff is working. But if I go to monitor, it fails. Handle cloud read 290 in dispatch. Okay, I'll debug that one other time. I don't think I'm in the right mindset to just do that. OBS client dispatch is just this, and you just give the client, and then there's like a read issue. The error is specifically stack protection client read. I'll probably put too big of a stack. Let's just try that. Okay, I guess that's the last thing I'm gonna try. I think my this is actually too big. ESP32 stack size 4K. So like half of my stack is like that buffer, which is not necessarily great. Right, seemingly same. This was a panic handler stack protection, and it was in OBS 1, which was write to server. Yeah, so I use another 1024 to write something to the server, because it's on the stack, which obviously is not great. So I mean, obviously I will have to move stuff to Sorry, I just writing some code. I will have to move stuff to the heap. That would be better, but that's just how life is. Flash. I just wanted to work one time, and then I'll just go. And then tomorrow, first thing we do is either sort out the stack heap stuff and just like put it in a place that can be reused, or blink an LED. You know what I mean, and then receive the current program changed event, and then set the right LED at the right place when the thing happens. Okay. No, I don't seem to see any errors. Can I click on things? So it was just a stack size. And I'm still not printing anything anywhere. But yeah, switch between the scenes. And it still works. I mean, I think that's really cool that you can just shift code straight into embedded stuff when you've done it properly. One benefit that I have here is that I am not allocating ton of memory for parsing the MessagePack, because you could potentially say I'm gonna parse MessagePack and it browses the entire structure and it creates this tree of like objects that point to each other and you can read them. Instead, I'm just keeping the static buffer of what I've received, and then I go through it. And then when you read something, you just go through it, and then that's just it. You just point to the bytes, and when you need data, I just convert the bytes into the data that you need. That's just all it is. So I think it's quite convenient. Also, great thing that I use MessagePack, because if I had used JSON, JSON would have used more memory, and on ESP32 it's probably much better to use less memory. I'm actually interested in just quickly ESP32C3 RAM and stack. See again this dock there. Look how slow it is, and it's only this site. Reducing the static memorization of the application increases the amount of RAM available for heap at runtime and vice versa. So reduce the static memory usage of the application, increases the amount of RAM. Okay, so it just shifts it around. Generally speaking, minimizing static memory usage requires monitoring the data and BSS sizes. Internal SPDF functions do not make heavy use of static RAM in C. In many instances, such as the Wi-Fi library boost controller, static buffers are still allocated from the heap. However, the allocation is performed only once during featureization and will be freed if the feature is deinitialized. To minimize static memory use, constant data can be stored in flash memory instead of RAM. Thus, it's recommended to declare structures, buffers, or other variables as const. So that would be in flash memory. This approach may require modifying firmware function to accept const star argument instead of multiple pointer argument. These changes goes for, oh, you can change the firmware library to just change the things. That's pretty cool. Blue Droid, OpenThread, determine stack size. In FreeRTOS, task stacks are usually allocated from the heap. The stack size for each task is fixed and passed as argument to X task create. Each task can use up to its allocated stack size, but using more will cause an otherwise very prone to crash. It doesn't really say 4K for. It's interesting that the overview said something. Memory model. Well, I have to see how that works. But yeah, in general, I may want to shift stuff to the heap. All right, that's it for today. Things are still connected, it's working, but I can now receive events without problems. I just need to test it out, and then LEDs. Have fun with that. All right, that's it for today. Bye.